You have an idea for a YouTube video, but how do you get from the idea to actually shooting? You need a script or an outline, you need to plan in some way. So in this video, what I'm gonna talk about is my script formula, well, lack of a formula, but my script progression, how I go from an idea and turn it into a video. And yes, there are some formulaic ways that you can do this, but there are some things that a lot of people aren't talking about that actually will make better videos, and that's what we're gonna dive into. All right, guys, let's get into it. I think the biggest issue when it comes to creating YouTube videos, and especially the script aspect of it, is when you're writing a script, not necessarily following a formula, because formulaic videos end up being pretty boring. I mean, they work, you can have a formula, and there's a lot of creators out there. I've been watching a lot of these videos on how you write scripts and how you outline and this and that. I've just been trying to see what other creators talk about, and I keep seeing the same thing over and over. You have a hook, you might use your intro graphic, you do your content. In that content, you might have another hook to tease something at the end, and then you have your ending that plays over that last 20 seconds where you can have something on screen and say, hey, go watch this video. Yeah, that formula works, and there's nothing wrong with that formula, and you'll see that formula in a lot of my videos. I do the same type of things. However, I don't approach it by saying, okay, here's A, B, C, D, this is what I need to do, and I just fill out the boxes and then make a video. I come at it from a different process. Instead of just having a formula and filling it out and then hitting record, you wanna first start with thinking through what is the problem. We're talking about like basics of storytelling. You need to have a problem, and the video is the journey to the solution. That's like storytelling 101, what's the problem? And you wanna put that right up front. So in this video, the problem is people are following formulas, and they're not actually thinking through the process of actually writing a script that will engage with the audience on the other side of the camera. And yes, we will go through the tactics on how you write a script, and I'll go through my process. I have a few different ways. Essentially, you wanna come up with this problem first, whether you're doing a story-driven piece or you're doing more of a tutorial. There is always a problem, and you can always phrase your videos in terms of problem and journey to the solution. So for example, I did a video recently that was all about the Z-Cam. It's a review. Well, the way that I phrased it is that I'm looking for a small form camera that shoots RAW. So from that problem, then the video is about the camera itself and all the reasons why this could be a good option to choose and why I decided to go and buy one of these cameras. And so your problem can be phrased in a few different ways. Like if you're doing more of a story-driven piece, let's push away the reviews and tutorials for a second. Well, you're gonna have a problem. You need to set up the situation, something that's gonna happen, something that you're facing, a mountain that you are climbing. I mean, that's the easiest way to think about it. You have a mountain in front of you and you have to climb it and get to the summit. Well, the problem is at the beginning of the video, you're gonna say, I need to get to that summit. That's setting up the problem. Now the journey is climbing up that mountain, and the resolution is getting to the top and finishing. Now, in YouTube, you don't want to just finish and then end the video there, you want to send someone to another video. So beyond just the resolution, the ending, you do have this extra bit that you want to add on that keeps your viewers engaged and keeps them watching longer into your next video. So step one in my process is to come up with a problem. What is the problem that I'm trying to solve with this video? What is the problem that I'm gonna face in this video? What's the problem that is going to relate to the audience? Now that's a key component that you need to think through, and that is, how does your content relate to your audience and what are they going to get out of the video? So what is the takeaway? So now you have your problem, then step two is come up with what is the takeaway that you want people to get from this video. So I have a video that I did a little while ago that's all about color theory. So the problem that I used in that video was more of a question. It was, why is color so important? So I pose that at the beginning and I talk about why color is important, and the video goes through how you use color theory in your videos to make choices on how to better color grade your footage. So at the end of my video, I talk about how you actually apply these color theory techniques into your color grades, and that's your takeaway. So step one is problem, step two is what is the takeaway? What do you want your audience to come away from this video knowing or feeling? So it just depends on the style of content that you're creating. If you're doing a tutorial, obviously you want them to come away with some sort of knowledge. If you're doing a review, a product, you want them to come away with an understanding of how that product works and who it's actually catered towards. if you're doing a vlog or a story-driven piece, you want someone to come away with a feeling, whether it's that sense of like excitement or you want someone to connect with you on a deeper level. The power of storytelling is huge, and you really want to think through these components before you actually get to the script writing process. Now let's actually get into how you write a script, because I know that's why you clicked on this video. So I have a few different ways that I go about doing it. Depends on my knowledge around a subject, how many technical details there are, and what I actually want to do throughout the video. So a video like this, just a tutorial, something where it's talking head, I'll oftentimes just write out bullet points. That's the easiest way for me to express myself on camera, is I just need a few things that I'm gonna talk about, and then from there, I just kind of go on a rant and talk about it. And because I've shot so many videos, I know where to cut myself off, and it comes from experience. For those of you who are newer to creating and you don't have that sense of, where you wanna go with your video, you can create more in-depth bullet points or actually write out your entire script. And for those of you who are very new to this, you might even want to teleprompt it. So the Parrot teleprompter is one that I've suggested in the past because it's super simple and it just attaches right on the front of your lens. Now you can write out your entire script and then put it on this teleprompter and just read it word for word. It's just going to be right in front of your lens. Now the way that I deal with videos where I need to script it out a little bit more is I actually write out the entire script. Then I'll read each section as I'm going through the video and then regurgitate that in a way that comes out more natural rather than reading a script. So this is my script for the color theory video. So you can see I went through and actually wrote out pretty much the entire script, at least most of what I wanted to say. And then from that script, I went through and riffed and added a little bit extra and put it into my own words so it sounds more like me rather than just reading a script. So step 3 when it comes to creating your YouTube videos is figure out if you're going to do more of an outline or if you're actually going to script out the entire video. Okay, now let's get to step 4, which is the more formulaic aspect. So what a lot of creators talk about on YouTube is creating this formula. You want to start with your hook, and that's just storytelling in general. You always want to hook your audience. So the first 15, 20 seconds, you really want to either tell the audience what they're going to see in the video or put something exciting there that's going to grab their attention. The whole point of that first hook is to grab the viewer's attention. If you don't hook them in, there's hundreds of thousands of millions of other videos that they could go watch. So that hook's super important. Now from there, you get into the meat of your video. But instead of just going right into your content, I like to first start by stating the problem and actually giving the viewer an understanding of why they're watching this video. This is more so for my reviews and tutorials. I try to frame it in the context of why should you be interested in this video and why is this important to your creation process, or why does this piece of gear make sense for you to watch a video around? So that's where I'm framing the problem. Now the next thing that I tackle is kind of a big overview, the big broad strokes. So what are the different chapters that I would find in the video? So if you were doing a listicle, say it was 10 reasons to do X, well, that would just be your structure right there. There's 10 things, and you would come up with those 10 things. Now, for more of a story-driven piece, you might have different story beats that you want to hit throughout the video. And then there's always going to be some sort of wrap-up for your video. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, instead of wrapping and saying like, hey, I'm done, this video's over, thanks for watching, you just want to send people into another video. And I like to use that last 10 seconds to send the viewer into another video that's going to relate. So whether it's the next video in this series or whether it's just another video that I think the viewer would be interested in watching after watching this initial viewer. Obviously, you don't want to always have to be thinking through the algorithm, but the algorithm does play a big role in getting your videos discovered. So you want to create a path. So you want to have viewers that watch this video go into another video that's similar and something else that they'd be interested in so that you get more watch time, average view duration, all of that. The more that you can get your audience to move through your videos and actually watch more content, the more that your videos are going to become suggested in the algorithm. So the last step to my script writing process is to sit down and actually just grind it out and write out the different things that I want to talk about in the video. So if I'm doing an outline, it's bullet points. It's A, B, C, D, each of the things that I want to talk about in this section that I've created. And then once I've got everything written down, I'm ready to start shooting. Now, if I'm writing out the full script, it's the same type of thing. I'm gonna write an outline of each of the things I wanna hit and then actually sit down and script out, write it all out, and then say it out loud while I'm sitting here at the computer. So one thing that you wanna think about when you're actually writing out a script and it's something that you're gonna say word for word is the way that you think and the way that you type is different than it sounds when you say it out loud. So I always suggest, if you're gonna write out your scripts, say them out loud to yourself, and you'll start noticing the flow of how you write, and you might wanna change things up so it feels more natural when you're actually talking on camera. So there's no specific way to write a YouTube script. It's gonna come down to your flow, how you like creating your content, and I wanted to just give you some insight into how I do it so that you might play around with some of these concepts and it might make it easier for you to write your scripts and create your outlines. But the key is, think of the mountain. What is the mountain that you have to climb in your video? What is the challenge in front of you? Whether it is a tutorial review or it is, a film where you're actually climbing a mountain, what is the problem? What are you trying to accomplish? And then from there, once you get to the top, what's the resolution? What's the biggest takeaway? What's something that's going to connect your audience with your videos? And the more that you can think about your audience and who your audience is, the more that you're going to be able to think through, okay, this makes sense to add into my video, or this doesn't make sense. You always got to be thinking audience, but also you have to think about the content that you're creating. If it's a topic that you care about and it's, phrased in a way that's very personal to you, I guarantee that there's someone else that's going to connect with, because the more that you can infuse yourself into a video, the more that you're going to be able to connect with a viewer on the other side of the screen. All right, so now that you're ready to go write your script, go write it, and then check out this video right here, which is all about how you shoot B-roll, because B-roll is super important to take your viewer on the journey to climb the mountain. All right, guys, I'll see you over there.